Hi guys. In today's video, we are going to map a network drive in Ubuntu Server. Network drives are really useful when we're working with multiple machines. This process will be similar for all the Linux operating systems. We will create a SMB-Share in TrueNAS, then we'll try to access it in Windows. Then we'll mount this SMB-Share to a folder in Ubuntu Server by adding an entry to the fstab file, so that this share gets automatically mounted every time the system boots. First, we will mount it using the credentials in fstab file. Then we will also see how we can use a credential file in fstab. Let's get started with a video. First, I need a SMB-Share for mapping. Let me log in to TrueNAS. Now I'll create a SMB-Share. Click on the dataset in the left panel. Then click on Add Dataset. I'll name it SMB-Share. Then save. The SMB-Share has been created successfully. Now I'll create a user who can access this dataset. First, I'll go to the credentials. Here, you can see the user list. Let's add one more. Provide the necessary details and save it. There are detailed videos on TrueNAS in my channel. I've linked it to the I button. If you're interested, you can check it out later. The user has been added successfully. Now let's proceed to share the folder with the user. First, I'll go to Shares. Here, you can see all the shared folders I've created on my machine. Now, I'll quickly add the new dataset to this list. Click on Add. It'll ask for the path. Select the dataset path and save. Now we need to restart the SMB services. The service has been restarted. Let's configure the ACL. Select and apply the user to both the owner and owner group. Now click on Save Access Control List. Let's try to map this dataset now. Here, we need to provide the TrueNAS address for the SMB-Share. I'll log in with my new user ID and password. The folder has been successfully mapped. Here, we'll create a text file so we can make sure we are connecting to this specific SMB-Share. Now let's try the same thing from a Linux machine. I have logged into the Ubuntu desktop and remotely connected to the Ubuntu server through VS Code Remote SSH. Let me open a new terminal. I will create a directory named SMB. Now I'll mount the SMB-Share in this directory in multiple ways, but we will modify the fstab file so that the network drive is mounted every time the system boots. This is a minimized installation of the Ubuntu server, so Nano File Editor is not installed. To modify the fstab file, we need to install it first. To install Nano, type sudo apt install nano. In my case, I've already installed it. Now type sudo nano /etc/fstab. This command will open the fstab file. Here, navigate to the last line. We need to enter a new entry for the network share mount. First, we need to give the source for the network share followed by a tab. Then provide the target where we want to mount the network drive. After the target, we need to enter CIFS followed by a tab. Now we can enter all the arguments we need to connect to this SMB-Share, like username, password, and UID. Here UID is for the account and local machine, then enter 2 zeros with a tab in between. To save the file, press Ctrl X, then Y to accept the changes, followed by an enter. Now before we can mount it, let's install the CIFS utils package. To mount SMB-Share, we need the CIFS utils package in Linux. Use the command sudo apt install CIFS utils-y. The installation is complete, and we are ready to mount. Just enter the command sudo mount-a. We are done. Once you refresh the File Explorer, you can see the text file we created earlier is appearing under this directory. Here we're getting a hint that systemd is still running the old version. Even though our mount is working successfully, let's run this command to reload the daemon. Enter the sudo password, and it has restarted. Now let's see how we can use a credential file. Now type sudo nano/etc/fstab. And in the File Explorer, let's create a credentials file. We can give any name for this file. I will enter the local username followed by .cred extension. In this file, we will enter the username and password in this format. Now save this file and create a new directory. In the terminal, copy the previous entry and update the target with a new directory name. Now where we were provided the username and password, we'll remove them and enter credentials equals the absolute path of the credential file. Now we can save and close this file, press Ctrl X, then Y, then press Enter. Now to mount it, use the command sudo mount-a. We can refresh the File Explorer. Again, the mount is successful with a credentials file. In the next video, we'll try to automate this process with Bash script. So as many times we will create a virtual machine, it will mount all my necessary network share with only one command. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe.